Are you having any language issues? Okay, so I'm going to continue in English. 但是我要很重要的出题就是我们不是英语的活动，我们是双语的活动。但是每一次不是每个人听得懂中文，不是每个人听得懂英文，所以我们治疗有时候说英文，有时候说中文。我觉得如果你会说中文就说中文，如果就会说英文就说英文，就都会的。如果不懂的话就找人帮忙就可以了，是吧？所以what I want to do today is, all of us came together to meet people or to have a good time, but I think there's also a deeper reason. So, does anyone want to share, why they came today? If they're looking to solve a problem, like maybe, your company needs something that you can't find, or you want to start a company but you don't know where to go or what to do. Can anyone? Yeah.
I don't know the format, first time here. I'm looking for a Chinese factory to manufacture food products.
Okay.
Food products. So if anyone knows any factories which produce food products, please do recommend to me. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. And that's exactly what we're here for. So who here knows anything about food production or knows someone who could help with finding a factory doing food production?
Chances.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I have a friend in Panyu who's been doing food processing for decades, for years.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And I also know someone who's majoring in food science. So that's excellent. So after the talk, you guys can get together and make something happen. And that's really what we want to do here. Oh, okay.
Hello. Yeah, I got a request too. I'm looking for Chinese women entrepreneurs, either in China or abroad, who immigrated somewhere else, who started companies. Because I'm doing a project for immigrant women entrepreneurs and companies that are started by women in the developing countries. So if you know something, I would love to talk to them, interview them for my website. It would be awesome. Thank you so much.
So does anybody know someone who started a company?
A woman.
A woman who started a company?
How about the Chinese lady from China?
Yeah.
But she's moved on to Hong Kong.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay.
There you go. All right. So this is startup grind to work, everyone. And I mean, in all seriousness, this is why we do it. We want to make sure that there's a place for us to come together, to talk to each other, find out what we're working on. If we continue talking, maybe this time, you don't meet the right person, but next time, maybe you will. And that's all that's why we're here, is to help each other and to help all of us make our companies do better and find ways to do what we want to do and have a great time doing it. So, without further ado, I just want to introduce very quickly our speaker for today, Mr. Zhou. Let's give him a round of welcome. Everyone stand up. Yeah. Great. Mr. Zhou was educated in the U.S. and worked in the U.S., but now he's back here in Guangzhou and China, starting companies, apparently starting lots of companies. So let's get started with the interview. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Joe, for coming to Staff Grind Community Guangzhou today. And as usual, to get started, would you like to introduce yourself a bit?
I never realized there's so many foreign staff in Guangzhou.
Seriously?
Actually, I got my undergraduate study in South China University of Technology. But actually, I got some alumni in this room today. And then I went to Houston for my master's study. And after that, I started my career in the United States. So my major is in chemical engineering. But actually, after my graduation, I started my career in information technology. It's totally different path. So I worked in the United States for over 10 years. over 10 years, and then I came back Guangzhou in 2003 and started my business in Guangzhou. Then my first company started in Guangzhou is Cyclare technology as healthcare software provider. And for now, this company lasts for about 10 years. We provide digital solution for hospital, for Department of Health, this kind of client. And also 2 years ago, we started another company called Cyclare, a global knowledge sharing platform. It's a portal for people to share their knowledge. Let's say you have experience in cooking, you can share your knowledge on our portal about cooking. That's one example. And there's a lot of other business like real estate development I also involved. So quite something. So I try different kind of thing, and I don't know if I have any successful experience to share, but I do have experience of failure to share.
So that will probably lead to my next question. Can you share your story on why you got started building Cyclare technologies, particularly for the medical product market? How did you get started?
Well, a lot of people ask me this question, and probably people always expect, say, okay, I did a lot of research, so I finally decided to go into digital healthcare market. But actually, that's not the story. When I just started Cyclare, actually I want to focus in airline business. Because before I came back China, I worked for Continental Airline for a few years. And we developed quite successful software in the United States. And today, one of the systems we developed is used by the Air Force right now to monitor those civil airlines. And so when I started my company in Guangzhou, I did want to start my business in airline business. And I've got a project with Southern Airlines in Guangzhou. But one day when I have a dinner with a president of Guangzhou Children's Hospital, and now he's the president of Zhujiang Hospital. You may heard about that hospital. And he's an ICU expert, okay, intensive care unit expert. And we talk about, because I just came back, so I try to get some input about my startup business. And he said, well, right now the healthcare industry, I mean, the system is quite behind the development. So if you can evolve into this kind of digital healthcare system, you may have a good chance. And by the way, more important is in China, there's just about under 10 airlines. If you lose one client, you will lose 10% of the market share. That is scare me, because that's a high risk. So, well, I say, okay, next day, let me see about your ICU, see if that's difficult to develop a system for them. So the next day, I went to their hospital and take a look at the ICU, and I said, okay, that's not that difficult to develop a system. So I start our project with this hospital on the ICU system. And at the same time, we got a project from the Guangzhou Bureau of Science and Technology. How to say that?
Guangzhou 科技局.
Okay. And to fund for this project. So we start my business in healthcare. That's the story. No research, nothing, just because one dinner. That totally changed my direction. And when we talk about Cyclare, I do have a lot of failure experience to share with all you guys. Because I worked quite a few years with those Fortune 500 companies in the United States. So when I work with this company, I always feel I have more than enough resource for me to use, so that I can do a lot of projects as long as I can think about that. But when you start your business, that's all totally different thing. The resource always limited, but I did not realize this. So when I start my company, the first product we developed is the ICU system. And later on I found out, ICU system need to have a support system, the PACS system, picture and archiving communication system. The system is for after you take a CT, MR or X-ray, so that the picture can be retrieved and can be analyzed and stored. That kind of system. And also laboratory system, electronic medical record system. There are a lot of things. So I spend a lot of resource, a lot of time on system development instead of put more effort on marketing. So for quite a long time in my company, over 100 employees, 90% are technical people. Less than 10% is marketing people. That's a totally wrong direction. That's my first failure experience. So if you start a company, you have limited resource, you need to balance. Because most of the staff guys, especially in technology field, most of them are technical guys. So they don't realize how important marketing is. So I think for staff company, you can spend no more than 50% your resource on technical. You should leave at least 50% on marketing. That's very important. That's my first lesson to learn. And it took me years to realize this mistake. Okay, we spent 30 million in development, 30 million RMB in development. So it's quite too much resource on just technical instead of marketing. And the second lesson I learned is in China right now is still developing market. Okay. And there's a lot of rules, it's not formalized yet. So the market skill is quite flexible. I try to say is there's not a thing is not like in the United States, everything is straightforward. You have rule to follow. But here there's not a thing is on the table. I mean, you know what I try to say, okay? And also you need to do a lot of entertainment. A lot of entertainment. I mean, this happens in the United States. Okay, you do entertainment too, but not that far. But here's entertainment is hairy business. Okay, and unfortunately, for my personality, I'm not the person like to. I mean, involve too much entertainment. And that's another thing is, another lesson I learned is, if you start a business, you need first think about your personality. What your personality is, and then you should find a business fit your personality. Okay, you cannot always force yourself to do something you don't like. Initially, you may be able to do it. Okay, oh, that's for a job, I do it. For my career, I do it. But for long past, you won't be able to handle that for a long time. So then, based on that, if you lack, I mean, you need to have some kind of personality to do business, and you don't have, and you need to find a team to help you, or you need to find a solution for that. So we struggled for quite years. Actually, myself struggled for a few years to figure out the marketing solution for us. So finally, we figured out a solution fit my personality. To do the marketing. Otherwise, we are still struggling. And I think it's a miracle we did not die in the past 10 years. We still survived.
So yeah, to get into more detail, what specifically you did there, particularly in the kind of blend of personality in your team. Can you give us more detail? What are the guys that do the things that your personality doesn't fit to? Is it the solution or something else?
There's a few solutions mixed together to solve this issue. Actually, yes, there's some people that just like to socialize. Okay, there's some people they bore to socialize. Man, I love this personality which I don't have. I love that.
And which made them qualify naturally for the job in your team, right?
Yes, I mean they are always outcoming. There's people, their personality is outcoming. they cannot sit in a chair for probably just half day. But they are willing to travel a lot, they want to talk, they want to, joking around, go around. That's their stress. And we need this kind of stress. That's one thing. And then the other thing is we, at the beginning, we sell our product directly to our client. With direct sell. We do direct sell. We deal with the client directly. But later on, we change our strategy. We build up our distribution channel. We set up our co-pilot level. So we share our profit with our pilot. We share about 50%, half our income with our pilot. So that we build a level around the country. And instead to do a lot of marketing and sales work, we spend more time on technical development, which is we lie and we focus. That way we can develop good quality product and service, and we let our pilot to handle the marketing and sales. So that way we avoid a lot of risk. And that way we prepare for in the future, someday we may have the luck to go public and we make ourselves quite clear. Instead, when people audit your bank, your car, you see, wow, just so confusing.
Yeah, it's talking about the kind of product that you're building for the medical markets. You probably have identified some major differences between the system that the Western countries are using and the Chinese capitals are using. So what are the major differences that you identify at that time?
When we start to build our product, and we figure at that time, most of the company in this field, they develop system for for management, like say for the finance, for the drug, and for most of them just focus on money, on the financial side, instead of focus on the doctor and nurse. But actually in hospital, 80% of the employee are doctor, physician or nurse, instead of those cashier or those financial department people. And before us, most of the system just focus on the cashier and the financial side, or the drug department, instead of the doctor and nurse. So the first product we developed is ICU and electronic medical record for the doctor to finish their paperwork.
Okay. Can you compare your understanding on the Chinese medical system market that, before you enter the market, you probably have some assumptions, right? So what would prove wrong about your assumptions? What are the top 3 things that prove wrong after you get into the market? And how do you correct them?
Okay, that's a tough question. Well, actually, there's a really big, great difference between U.S. healthcare market and China health market. And I saw a lot of news at this time, and people are talking about the mobile network, like this kind of smart device. They have a great chance in healthcare network, in healthcare market. And I saw a lot of investment, a lot of startup company in working in this kind of smart device in healthcare market in China. But unfortunately, well, that make this story bigger, okay? There are a lot of business models first appeared in United States, like eBay, okay, like Facebook, like Twitter, and all these they have a copy to China version, okay? We call Taobao and Weibo, and so that kind of thing. But healthcare, there's no copy to China version, because in United States, doctor, physician, they're freelance, they're free professional. They don't belong to any hospital. They survive on their self. There's a free market. But in China, the government, they control all the healthcare and medical care resource. And internet, we talk about freedom. Everything's free. The money, information, people will to flow free for internet to work. So in China, because the most important thing, the healthcare resource is controlled by the government. So there's no way for people to build some kind of internet business for healthcare in China at this moment. That's a big difference, and this I cannot correct this problem.
Okay.
So right now I saw a lot of application in the mobile app today in China, but I don't think they can survive or they can succeed until someday you see the newspaper say, oh, the doctor can open their own clinic. 多点执业, I don't know how to say that. Multiple point or multiple license or something like that. Which means the doctor can practice freely.
放开这个执照，放开这个牌照。
对。Because today, a doctor, if you need to practice, you need to follow a hospital. You need to stay in a hospital. If you leave a hospital, you become 黄绿医生. Okay. So the doctor survived because of hospital. Instead of the hospital survived because of doctor. It's different situation.
So, in terms of technology, we know that information tend to be flow, tend to benefit more people when it's flowing freely. In the next 3 years, what are the opportunities you can see that particularly in the mobile app world that can change the status quo that you just described in Chinese medical authority system, that where the doctor cannot independently practice? Is there any business opportunities there, or there is nothing we can do with technology unless the system has changed? What is your view on these opportunities?
I don't think there's too much opportunity in the next 3 years until the system change. And from my point of view, in next 3 years, I don't think the system will change enough. The only opportunity or the people can benefit from this new technology, just maybe like for a person, after he go to hospital and then he have some kind of X-ray exam or lab exam, and then he can just use my mobile phone to see the result. That's all. That's all. No more than that. Just a little bit convenience. Instead of the great opportunity like in the United States, I mean, you can fire a doctor or that kind of thing. No, there's no such thing.
Okay. So yeah, that's what we call the room for disruption. It's not very much on the technology side, but very much on the system, the system side. Okay. So we also realize that you're also doing angel investing in some company and products. Can you share with us why you started product C2Know, the service?
Well, actually, a couple years ago, I watched CCTV. Forget which CCTV channel, and then I see there as an old lady is talking about some little tips in life. Every morning we always brush our teeth, right? So those toothpaste, you need to squeeze out those toothpaste, and we always left some toothpaste inside the container, and that lady show us how to squeeze out every piece of the toothpaste out of that tube. Okay. It's amazing. Okay, it's amazing. Just tiny tips, and I figure out, wow, this kind of tiny tips. It may not be that formal or that high class to go into some kind of a textbook or something, but it's useful for our daily life. And also, it's good for our environment. Think about that. If every toothpaste can be used up instead of left a little bit, probably 5% to the earth, is a great friendly, I think. So I think we need to have some kind of praise for people to share what they learn about them. So that's the reason I start this product.
Okay.
That's simple. And actually, I found people share something very useful on our website. Like say those water pipe, that kind of water pipe. Okay, this kind of pipe.
Yeah.
Okay. If you need to cut it, you know how to cut it? Usually we think about use a jigsaw to cut like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, people show me you can use a 棉线,
a cotton thread.
Use a cotton thread to cut it. Even better result. Can you believe that? That's very interesting thing. So that's the reason we share. I mean, we do something like that.
Okay. So I realize that knowledge sharing is happening in so many places nowadays, particularly when people have mobile apps, mobile phones, and all the possibility to share knowledge. Why do you think that C2Know, the business model of C2Know, is different from the rest, from the rest of the other knowledge sharing tools?
Well, actually, we never consider about business model when we start this thing. We just about try to do something good for the earth. So we did not think about that much about the business model. But after we launched this in about a year, we start to have some users, so we can think about this business model today. And we work with those e-commerce business. So we do some advertisement for them, or they can charge for their class, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So what is the C2Know's focus right now, or are you thinking about something new or method of deliver this kind of knowledge to the mobile app world? Because I realize that you only providing a website, right? Do you have a mobile app, or what is your plan for the future, for the next versions of the C2Know product?
Actually, we do have a mobile version.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we do have.
Okay.
We do have a mobile version, and we try to help people use their time more valuably, efficiently, because we have some kind of fragment of time. I don't know if that's correct. So like you wait for the bus or wait for the subway, you have probably 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So you can use this 5 minutes or 10 minutes to watch a lesson, a lecture, probably a video or probably a document, that kind of thing. So we limit each lesson to under 10 minutes, because for most of the people, they can squeeze out about 10 minutes to learn something useful. And also for kids, because we have many lessons for many classes for kids. And for kids, usually they can focus on one thing for about 10 minutes. Over 10 minutes, they may be distracted for something else.
Yeah.
So we always limit for 10 minutes. Probably that's the difference between us with
other products. Oh, interesting. Short videos.
Right, short, very short.
Okay. Yeah. So since C2Know is one of your angel investing project, and are there any others, or can you share with us what are the other areas that you will explore to invest in as something new that you're really interested in?
We just start 5 months ago. We just start online jewelry business, like diamond or ruby, sapphire, that kind of thing, jewelry. Because we met some people, they have a talent in design this kind of very fancy jewelry, and then we have a resource to get this gemstone supply. So we start this business. It's very interesting. And in China, right now, people have a really good spending power. So
Okay. So since building all these businesses, you know, and as an entrepreneur, you must be very good in picking team of people. I would like to, you know, for the next few topics, I would like to focus on the talents and people. What is your view on Guangzhou's talent pool of computer software and hardware engineers? So what are your human resource strategy to keep getting the best people? And you had a secret or strategy right now that you can share?
well, I think when we're talking about talent, I think Guangzhou is dying. It's dying. I'm serious. It's dying. This city is dying. Okay. And well, even when I talk with the government officer, I always keep saying about this. This city is dying. We always say about Guangzhou is first tier city, but actually we are second tier right now. We're second tier city because in this city doesn't have the innovative gene, you know, and it's very difficult to keep the talent in this city because since I started business in Guangzhou to now, over 10 years, probably I already employ about a couple thousand employees. And
Leaving and going, coming and going.
Right, come and go. And it's about a couple thousand at least. And it bothered me for quite some time. I tried to figure out why this happened and how to keep this talent. And so I tried a lot of things, pay salary, higher salary, good benefit, travel allowance, that kind of thing. We tried it, but it still doesn't work very well. And finally, someday, I figured out one thing is because the young talent has been taken the right of repopulation， 就是他们的繁殖权被剥夺了。
Oh, reproduction, the ability to reproduce, to keep family, to make babies because of all these resource constraints imposed by big cities, like housing cost and.
See, like this young lady, okay? Your young lady, okay. When you try to find a boyfriend, you always say, okay, I need to figure out who can give me a bright future, at least a comfortable life, right?
Yeah.
Well, engineering in Guangzhou, at least the best, average, probably just 10,000 RMB a month.
Yeah.
You cannot even afford a bathroom, right? Maybe you work a whole year, you cannot even afford a bathroom, which means you cannot get a house in Guangzhou. That way you cannot settle down in this city. So what can I do? Well, then I will spend probably from 22 after my graduation, and then work in this city probably up to maximum 30. Most of them is 28. I did some research on that. 5 years in this city, I will do everything to make as much money as possible. So which means I work in this company. Today I make 5,000 RMB a month. And he offered me about 5,300. Then I jump.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after a couple months, he offered 6,000. Then I jump again. Because I never have a goal in this city. The only goal is I make money. And then when the time comes, maybe 28, 30, sorry, sayonara. I'm packed and going home. So for this city, is always doing this bad cycle. And it's very difficult. You can see some middle-aged engineer in this city. It's very difficult to find. When you go to those IT companies, always young men. Always young men. So that's really, really bothering. And to solve this problem, okay, how about I move my R&D center to the inside city? So we set up our R&D center in Guilin a few years ago.
In Guangxi province.
Yeah, in Guangxi. So that we have a much better team. most of them has experience in first tier city, and then they don't have high expectation on salary because the life cost in their city is very low, and the families there, man, they did good stuff, much better quality stuff than Guangzhou, and we have very competitive product now.
So how many engineers you hire in Guilin, the R&D team?
We have an engineer, over 100 engineering team, but in Guilin probably 50 to 60 engineers.
So you're still keeping an engineering team in Guangzhou, but the nearly half of the team is in Guilin.
Guilin, yeah.
Okay.
Some in Guangzhou and some in project across the country. So majority is in Guilin.
So this story tells me that it looks like for the young engineers, it's easier to strike a balance between work and life, and probably at an even lower salary when they are working and living in a city like Guilin. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we offer them a decent salary in those cities.
Yeah.
So they're satisfied. And they don't think about their mistake. Here's their hometown, no way to run, no way to escape. So just sit tight there and did some good job.
And had a family, happily had babies. And,
oh yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well done. I think that's a solution. That
exactly.
The first time I heard about this in the software community here in Guangzhou.
Die in Guangzhou style. I'm serious. Beijing, Guangzhou, Shanghai, Shenzhen is better, a little bit better. But Shenzhen is not good too.
Also dying.
Because those real estate market is way too high. You know.
Yeah, the housing cost.
Yeah, you know, the office rental fee in Zhujiang, Xincheng even higher than Silicon Valley.
Higher than Silicon Valley.
Can you believe that? I just did some research last April. That's crazy.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, it looks like it's all about the communities and you know the balance of life and work for the people. But how about the tech communities that help you to connect to more people? Are you active in tech communities around China? And if you are, can you name some of them so that we can make a comparison between Start Growing and those events such as these?
Well, actually, I did not involve that much with tech community.
Okay.
Why not? I spend more time in marketing field because that's what I did.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's all I had to ask today, and for this talk. And now we move to the audience Q&A session. So, any question to ask Joe? Oh, Karina?
Yeah.
You first.
I'm Karina, and I would like to ask about the videos that you mentioned. It's a 10-minute video. Do your followers, do they have to download this video before watching, or can they use 3G internet to watch it?
Yeah, they watch it online.
So it's very cheap to watch it online? Like it doesn't take that much?
No, it doesn't take that much. Most of them are free.
Yeah, but I mean, when you use the 3G internet, it's very cheap.
You're very cheap. Yeah, very cheap.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Joe, I have a question. You talked about the medical industry here, and you mentioned that there are limited opportunities you feel till the system change. How do you feel about the relationship between let's say the medical staff, the doctors, and the patients? Do you think that technology can help improve that relationship? Because maybe as an outsider, I sometimes hear that there's a trust issue between patients and the medical facility, or maybe particularly a certain doctor. So what is your take on that? And how do you see if technology can play a role in improving that relationship?
I think technology certainly can help to some extent to improve this relationship between the doctor and the patient. For example, after the patient have an operation, they leave the hospital, and then the doctor may use the technology like the mobile app or some kind of email, or even the simple one, to follow up with the patient. That way can give the patient better care. That's, I think, and also we can have some kind of communication app between the doctor and the patient. They can keep in touch. For example, you are my patient, I keep in touch with you.
Yeah.
That certainly can help. But let's go back to the old rule is supply and demand. Here is how to say that? It's supply market. I think it's because each doctor needs to care so many patients. He doesn't have time to improve relationship with the patient. Half day, probably 4 hours. Each doctor needs to take care about 50 patients.
50.
Yeah, 50 patients.
10 minutes per person.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes per patient. So he doesn't have time to spend more on this patient to talk about, I mean, how about your sickness, that kind of thing. Just say, 哪里不舒服? What feel wrong? And then he start to write a prescription.
But that's based on the situation that the relationship between the patient and the doctor already established. How about, you know, the step before that, where the patient need to select who he's going to visit? Who is the right doctor? How do we do that?
Patient doesn't have that much opportunity because every doctor overbook already. You don't have the right to choose.
You cannot choose.
No, can you choose how much?
Well, have you visited local hospital? No.
Not too often.
You know,
A few times though.
in order to visit a doctor, the patient probably need to wake up in the midnight. For some good expert, you need to wake up in the midnight to stand in the line to wait for that before the hospital open. And for regular people, a regular doctor, you still need to wait in line to get a regular visit. That's the situation in China. Because the healthcare market in China is not balanced. Okay, in United States, as long as you get the doctor license, the capability is about the same. As long as you pass the exam in United States, but in China, it's totally different. Okay, the doctor in a first-tier hospital compared to the doctor in the third-tier hospital, that much difference. Even though they are all licensed doctors, that's a big issue. So the doctor those good doctors in hospital, they don't care about the patient, because I have patient lie up outside my office.
Yeah.
I just want to get out of the office as soon as the clock is up. And after the office time, they have some second job to do to make more money. So they don't care about that.
Okay, thank you.
Because you're in the healthcare industry and you say the hospital are controlled by the government, there's no breakthrough of it, but the dentist industry is only a breakthrough. So this one, what do you think?
For dentists,
That's
for
private dentist.
plastic surgery,
Yeah. and
this
private
kind
clinic.
cosmetic hospital,
Yeah.
yeah, there's some change we see.
Yeah, so would you consider to make changes or with your technology?
But the market for this kind of hospital is too niche.
Just niche.
Too small.
Niche.
The share is so small. So small. For dentists.
China's very big.
For dentists?
Yes.
We can talk about the entire China.
Yeah.
Well, for one company, for one system provider, for the whole China, maybe enough. But when you see this opportunity, other companies see this opportunity too. And then when many companies jump into this opportunity, the blue sea become red sea again, very soon, less than a year.
But it's the same in every industry, isn't it?
Probably you're right. Probably you're right.
Yeah, I just ask. Because we have to see the good side of China. If the dentist start to have a breakthrough, so maybe eventually the hospital system will be changed.
Actually, the dentist is and the cosmetic hospital, those plastic surgery hospital.
And also
the government,
Chinese medicine industry also.
This type of hospital, they just very small share of the whole healthcare market. It cannot even support a company.
Really?
No, because we talk about that with this kind of clinic, the dentist. They for system they maybe just pay about 10,000 RMB for one system.
But this is high profit industry too.
They're just willing to pay 10,000 RMB for one system. 就是说，一个牙 Chinese OK， 一个牙科，它最多就是给你1万块钱，做一个系统。全中国也没几个牙科，又加起来。我们现在如果做一个就是一个 hospital， 我们很多时候是做10 million 做一个。
Yeah, Galina. Oh, Rick. Yeah, no, Rick, please.
You said Guangzhou is dying. and part of your solution was to have people working in Guilin instead. But are there examples of companies which are succeeding in Guangzhou?
Oh yeah, of course. There's some companies that say in Guangzhou.
And what are they doing right?
Frankly speaking, I did not. Well, like the company called 那个叫什么来着？刚刚上次你学的那个叫什么
？YY.
YY, yeah. YY is a successful case.
Gaming, yeah.
YY is a successful case in Guangzhou, and what else?
Well, if you talk about earlier examples, it's like NetEase. Yeah, they started.
UC,
yeah.
where
3G medical science.
Yeah,
3G.
Just a few.
There are a few.
Yeah, there are few, but not that many. Not that many.
But they are in totally different market segments, right?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there an app in China that can help you like by doing, you know, like I don't know, like stay in line in advance or something, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that we probably already there.
Yeah. For like all the places possible where you can get a ticket.
Yeah, you can apply. I saw in the advertisement.
排号
排队应用对。
排队应用啊。
Like hospital for like maybe
用得好吗？
Pinky 说的
到
看。
时候到点就去了，有的，都有的，已经有了。Yeah.
I'm not sure if that worked well in China.
And the reason being that it's because of the supply-demand issues. There are just too few supply of good doctors and too many demands for medical service.
So if you lose someone, when you go to hospital, you lose someone, that's good. But for the, frankly speaking, for public health care in China, okay, it's better than United States for public. Okay, for public, because when I back to United States and my eldest son is about 5 years old at that time, and he got sick and threw up, almost dehydrated. And then we sent him to the public hospital. In the emergency room, man, is packed with people, and nobody care about us. Nobody. You just sit there, and I sit there over about 5 hours in emergency room, and nobody care about you. Until I told the doctor, said this kid is dying, and oh, let's do a lab result. But oh man, he's almost dehydrated. Let's go. The same thing. I mean, and in China, even though if you got emergency, go to the hospital, I think most of the time you get treatment. Most of the time you get treatment right away. But in United States, unless you have health insurance, you go to the private hospital. If you go to private hospital, I think probably worse than Guangzhou.
I see. Oh, okay.
我用那个普通话来提问题吧。
OK，
是这样的，我想提个问题，就是周先生在那个数字那个医院领域方面的一个经验这么丰富啊，假如是有一些年轻人，他想在后来这个未来发展的一个数字医疗方面，或者说医疗方面、生物医疗方面想创业，你能不能提供一些建议，或者说一些过去你曾经犯过的一些错误有一些你们注意哪些要启发他们？
First of all, I would like to ask, what's your financial goal for staff? Your financial goal, the goal， 就是说经济上你有什么目标创业？就是说，对，如果这个年轻人他要创业，他有什么目标？
他假如是那个发现一些现在这个医疗方面还是有好多东西要改进的，但是大公司他们可能包括你们，包括好多现在竞争的这个医疗信息领域，国内就是几个大公司，其中你们做的很好的一个大公司嘛。假如他们发现一些你们大公司不屑去做的一些突破口，他们去做，他们这样一个创业可以吗？
我这样说吧，如果在中国做医疗的话，first of all, I say in Chinese and then I speak in English。如果你创业在中国的医疗，你创业的话，如果我的目标是开辆将来，我现在没车，我将来希望能够开辆本田，我希望能开辆那个Camry， 我就 OK 了，我就满足了。那医疗领域没问题的，你绝对可以做得到。但是说我创业，我有个伟大的理想我将来我要开法拉利的，那你就想清楚，就是做医疗这个领域
竞争白热化国家。
对，就是最主要点就是它的医疗资源都是掌握在政府的手上，政府手上。所以，如果他是对医疗有个伟大的梦想，想要做到一个庞大的事业的话，那他现在可以先做预研，然后的话，紧跟党的政策走。18届三中常会你认真研读一下，看看他对就是医改他有什么新的路线图，这是我们目前也是非常关注的。就是如果只要我们看到任何松动，说将来会放宽对这个医疗行业的那个管理，就是让它自由竞争或者自由职业的话，
对，
那就是机会来了，
投资机会，对。
如果还是维持现在都是政府主导的公立医院为主的，你就没机会了，就机会就很难说有个大的机会了。就做 IT 这块，我不是说设备设备是另一回事。
对。
还有一个小问题，就现在在深圳上海、北京现在好多就兴起这种创客、创客这吧，那个就是引进远间结合的一种形式的那种项目。 就有一些，比如说有一些人啊，就有一些年轻人就想就是在把一些医疗一方面，然后硬件跟一些软件结合，做突破口来做，你觉得他们这样做有前途吗？
你聽懂英文的？
啊？
你聽懂英文的？
一般啦，最好就普通話咯。
OK， 我先普通話回答你的問題。OK，其實穿戴設備加上雲計算是一個發展的方向。OK， 但是因為這個是一個高度專業的領域，你有了穿戴設備，你得到了數據，你有雲啦，你哪裡有人幫你提供專業的後台服務？這是最關鍵的。提供專業後台服務的必須是高水平的醫療專業人士，而這些人是掌握在政府手上的，不在你手上，所以沒有前途。Well, he asked me a question: Is there any opportunity for staff in healthcare market in China? So my first question is, what is your financial goal when you start in healthcare business? If your goal is, okay, right now I don't even have a car, in the future I want to have a Honda Accord or Toyota Camry, I said that's fine, let's go, no problem. You start a business in healthcare, you should be able to achieve your goal. But if say, wow, I want to have a big business in the future, I want to have a Ferrari after I start this company, then I think it's not that realistic. That's why I try to tell him about that. And the second question he asked me is about right now there's new technology like all those medical equipment and the IT software. Is there any opportunity? Well, I say is my answer is for those wearable equipment. Right now that is watch, Apple Watch, the like those ECG equipment, blood pressure equipment, all those non-invasive wearable medical equipment, and plus a back-end cloud computing platform. That should be a great opportunity to help the patient. This will work in United States or Europe, but this won't work in China at this moment, because after we use this wearable equipment to collect all this data, and then we transfer this data back to our cloud computing platform. But the problem is we need qualified medical professionals to provide service. And in China, qualified medical professionals are controlled by the government, which means the whole system, the whole ecosystem cannot be built. That's the problem. So I told this gentleman, pay attention to the CPCC central meeting. 18大三中全會 I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, the Chinese Congress, the latest, plan for the medical system. What's their development plan? Follow the government's plan very closely. Yeah.
See if they have talked about anything about the healthcare reform.
Deregulation.
So if they deregulate the market and then the doctor can practice anywhere they want, well, that the chance come up. We can spend a bunch of money, jump into that, and before that, don't spend money.
Great.
还想再提一个小问题，就是你们刚才说，做医疗的是跟政府打交道，其实是很重要一个环节。你可不可以谈谈你们公司就是你，包括你自己跟政府打交道，这个其实要特别注意什么？在中国，
我给你举个例子我亲身经历的例子。我曾经有一个项目，是个医院的项目，5 million 的一个软件项目。OK， 那个 city 的 mayor， 害了这个医院所在那个区的，很复杂的。这很难说的清楚。
If there are no further questions, yeah, we would like to close the Q&A session, and let's give Joe a warm applause. We had a little souvenir.
Oh, okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
So before everyone, as we close down the interview, we actually reserved another hour for all of us to just get together and talk. So I absolutely encourage you to stick around. Find the people that we talked about at the beginning. Chances to talk to Michael you talk to Galina. And then feel free to talk to each other and see how we can help each other accomplish what we want to do. Thank you very much for Joe. Yeah. The next event is going to be November 24th with the VP of IT Asia for Estee Lauder Group. So that's the last Sunday in November, and then we're also planning another event in December. And then also, most especially, if any of you are interested in startups and startup culture, next weekend we're holding Startup Weekend Guangzhou. Sebastian's really into it. Galina's into it. I'm going to be a mentor. Chance is going to be a mentor. Carl's going to be a mentor. It's a whole lot of fun if you're interested in startups and want to try it out. You can just try being an entrepreneur for a weekend and see if you survive, basically.
Is it the first event in Guangzhou?
It's the second one.
Second.
Yeah, it's the second one.
What's the deal like? Is this a game or is a
It's
simulation game?
It's
It's a SAP game, right?
no money. No, it's the idea is, you get a whole bunch of people together on Friday night. You make pitches for ideas. The ideas that people like, you sort of form teams around those ideas. And then Saturday and Sunday you work to build a business. So of course in 2 days you can't build a full business, but you can get pretty far. If you choose a small enough idea that you know enough about yourself, right? You can, for example, you can get customer validation. You can talk to so many customers and say, yes, I would buy this for this price. You can build financial models of how much would it cost, what are your plans for the future. You can build a demo if you have good developers who are on the team to build a demo or a prototype. Often people will build web apps or iPhone apps to show the idea. On Sunday evening, they present to a panel of judges. The judges are VCs and CEOs of local startups. And somebody's a winner, and it's just a lot of fun. Yeah.
Where's that?
It's going to be in a co-working space that just opened up, and I don't remember the name, near Ximenkou. But go to Startup Weekend, guangzhou.startupweekend.org.
Yeah, and I think it's also a great place if you have an idea and you want to find people that can help you build it out. Designers, marketeers, programmers. It's a great location to get into contact with people that might be able to help you succeed with another business idea that you might not want to share over there.
It's really intense. So if you join for the weekend, you're in for the weekend. It's almost working 20 hours a day. It's really intense, but it's a lot of fun if you do it. So hang around. There's still drinks. There's a few more sandwiches and stuff if you guys are still hungry. And let us know how we can improve the event for the next time. Come up and talk to any of us. All right? Thank you very much.